This is Lewis. He's 4. And he would turn that light on and off and on again if no one stopped him. Ian is 14, but his favorite movies are Disney's Cars and Cinderella. He could play with his train set isolated all afternoon. Kate is 3 and might stare at herself in the mirror for hours, disengaged from the world around her. All 3 have autism. And every 20 minutes, another child is diagnosed with the disorder. 500,000 kids in this country are affected. That's 1 in 166, more than cancer and cerebral palsy combined. No one understands why, but 4 out of 5 affected are boys. And it can have debilitating effects on families, with 80% of marriages ending in divorce. Autism knows no boundaries, not ethnicity, not race, not money. Autism is a lifelong disability that affects the way a person communicates and relates to people around them. Children and adults with autism often have difficulties with everyday social interaction. Their ability to develop friendships is limited, as is their capacity to understand other people's emotions. Some can be profoundly autistic. Others are high-functioning, like Dr. Temple Grandin, who has written more than 20 books.
Hi, this is Temple Grandin.
But even she recognizes that she is limited by autism, especially when it comes to relating to others.
I don't get all the little subtle social cues. I just have to learn by rote how to act in different situations.
Each person with autism is affected differently. Dr. Mary Jane Weiss, Director of Research at the Douglas Developmental Center at Rutgers University, says autism can take on many, many forms.
You can have somebody who's completely mute, entirely non-vocal. You can have someone that can speak but can only speak in one-word utterances. And you can have somebody who can speak quite effectively but doesn't use their language effectively, especially in social situations. In the same way, in the social realm, you can have somebody who's very, very aloof. You can have individuals who are quite attached, but who have difficulty navigating social environments or responding to social overtures of other people. And in the repetitive behaviors, you can have the more classic stereotyped behaviors that people think of when they think about autism, like rocking or hand flapping. But you can also have much subtler kinds of ritualistic behaviors like lining up cars or playing with toys in the same way over and over again.
Autism was first identified in 1943, and even up until the late 1960s, children were taken out of their homes and sent away, institutionalized, as this 1968 University of Michigan film shows.
Jimmy is an autistic child, 11 years old, who has been institutionalized for the past 5 years. Periodically, he spends some time at home with his parents and younger brother, who is normal.
Children with autism are not institutionalized anymore, but there is still no known cause or cure. Parents of autistic children often notice there's something wrong early on, but the realization that it's autism can come slowly.
Sing. He wasn't walking, he wasn't standing, he wasn't babbling. He would smile and respond, like glance a little bit, but that was about it.
He could have utterances, he could have beginning sounds, but he wouldn't respond to your conversation. He probably, by the time he was 6, could say a few words.
She wouldn't hold my finger. She did not maintain gaze ever. She didn't have the babbling. She was flat.
When Lewis was 9 months old, I noticed that he still commando crawled. He never got his upper body off the ground. And that was very weird to me. And I mentioned it to the pediatrician then, and he didn't feel that it was something serious that we could have waited.
Don't worry about it. He's your 3rd child. Everybody else is talking for him.
I was reassured. Every child develops differently. You know, you're too alarmed.
We had professionals telling us, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine. The woman actually who told me that I had to cut the umbilical cord from my son is a noted psychotherapist who works with kids all the time.
You know something's wrong, but you didn't think, like if you have something wrong with you, you're thinking, oh, I don't want to make that appointment because what if they tell me it's cancer? But you had the feeling that I know something's wrong, but it's probably fixable.
I always had that inner voice that pointed to something being wrong, but whenever I approached anyone about it, I was always reassured, and I was led to feel guilty for suspecting that there was a developmental delay.
I was looking for a starting point, and I couldn't even get to the starting point when everybody else was saying, like, you're nuts, you're too this, you're too that. They always turn to the mother and say, it's you.
It's like I had to keep proof, because I had to prove everybody that they were wrong. And I was like on a journey to prove, like I was going to try a case or something.
Anger, frustration. My stomach is in knots just talking about it.
Every time I brought it up, it seems that I hit a nerve.
You go to sleep at night thinking about what am I going to do for my child.
I fought those thoughts so much that I just try to put it behind me. Like, okay, let's just ignore it, keep going.
2 doctors told Maria there was nothing wrong with her son Louis. But after a party for his 2nd birthday, she could no longer accept that.
Louis didn't want to talk to people. Louis didn't want to play with people. All he wanted to do was play with the icing on the cake. The next day, I panicked, and I called the pediatrician, and I said, oh my God, I did this, and I thought, and now I really know, because I got to see other children, and they were, you know, my kid was not talking to them. He didn't want to be bothered. There was a little girl who was kissing him and hugging him and pulling him all over, and Louis, like, pushing her away.
After months, sometimes years of being told nothing's wrong, parents know they have to push for answers.
I was told that it takes up to 3 months to get an appointment to get your child assessed and evaluated. And that was not enough for me. That wasn't good enough, because I had already been hounding my doctor. I have been reaching out to people, and everybody closed their door on me. So I said, no, that's not acceptable. I cannot wait 3 months. I will die by then.
And when parents finally do get an answer,
You never forget what you went through the day that you found out. She asked me probably 3 questions and then said, I think your child has autism, and I think you've known this all along. And I slid to the floor. It was like...
It felt like I was grieving. It felt like a death.
I just saw her mouth moving after the word autism. I don't remember.
So what does that mean? I said, what does autism mean?
I really had no real knowledge of what it was. If I had that information, I would have acted much sooner.